This is the Ukraine that UEFA would like us to see. A peaceful, prosperous country emerging into the lights of a post-communist Europe. And a population looking forward to the prospect of co-hosting a summer festival of football. But scratch the surface and a different Ukraine emerges. A country that's still not ready for Euro 2012 with just 4 weeks to go until the big kick-off. A country where hooligans have hit the gym to prepare for the game against England on June the 19th. A country where neo-Nazi fans are thriving underground. And a country where hooligans have invented what they call a new sport. Football's Fight Club. England will play 2 of their group games this summer in Donetsk. It's a place where England fans should expect a warm welcome. After all, the city was founded by a man from Britain. In 1869, John Hughes built an ironworks here. He brought 70 workers from Britain with him, and they brought leather footballs. The English influence here, though, extends beyond industry and sport. These Shakhtar Donetsk and FC Dnipro ultras have been forced underground by the increased security measures put in place for Euro 2012. They're inspired by the English terrace culture of the 70s and 80s, and their idea of fun is fighting.
We believe that the plans we're making are good enough for hosting the European Championship. We don't expect any special problems with English fans. On the contrary, we think that people will come here in order to relax, to feel the festive mood at our stadium, and we will do our best to provide it.
For 6 months, we've been tracking the Donetsk Company, a firm of hooligans who follow Shakhtar Donetsk. For the first time ever, some of them agreed to talk briefly on camera, and they told us what England fans can expect in Ukraine this summer. Oleg would only give us his first name. He's been training every day in the gym, preparing for trouble at Euro 2012.
First of all, we are not afraid of the English. Compared to them, we don't drink or smoke. We are sportsmen. We will be happy to meet and welcome the English. We will see what happens and how the police react. Your English fans from Tottenham and Fulham have been here before, and we made them suffer. The English won't get the better of us because we will be prepared. We won't allow anyone to abuse our fatherland.
Mobile phone salesman Marek warned black and Asian England supporters to think twice about travelling to Ukraine this summer.
I think that they should know that here in Ukraine and in Russia, football fans support the far-right movement. We are nationalists.
This unemployed 20-year-old is Tolik. 2 months ago, he was elected leader of the Donetsk Company. He warned us he didn't want to answer any provocative questions.
I can't say that I'm scared of the English. Everybody can talk, but words have to be backed up by actions. Come and show us who you are.
The leaders of the Donetsk Company talked for only a few minutes, and it was clear we weren't getting the full picture. We had information that they were dangerous neo-Nazis. Over 2 days, we filmed them with hidden cameras, and we discovered just how much they hate foreigners. Tolik and Marek follow Shakhtar all over Europe. 5 years ago, Marek was shocked by what he saw when he travelled to Scotland for a game against Celtic.
So many Indians there.
Yeah. Marek also bragged about how David James was racially abused when England played in Ukraine in 2009.
You don't like Tottenham?
And during a cigarette break, they talked about violence at a Shakhtar game against Spurs 3 years ago. They called Tottenham the Jews, and Tolik made a gas noise in reference to the Holocaust.
Нас было 12 человек, 30 в
But
центре,
they beat Tottenham.
Yeah.
в центре города, и они побежали.
They fight in the center of the city. Who just win? Tottenham is running away.
Other way.
Бежали как
Run.
Run. Help me, please, help me.
In the 70s and 80s, hooliganism was a massive problem in England. So we showed our footage to a man who knows all about football violence. Cass Pennant is a reformed character. He used to be a member of West Ham's intercity firm. Today, he's a writer and publisher of books on football culture.
It's dangerous for English fans to go anywhere outside of England. You know, the reputation goes before England's fans worldwide when it comes to the word hooliganism, yeah? And that was established in the 70s and 80s. And through that reputation, the England fan has that as a burden today because there's different fan base. What you got in effect is the hunter has become the hunted. The Polish and the Ukraine guys, it's their way of life, they live it. You know, they're on it all week. Yeah, and it's a big build-up and they want to test themselves. All right, and if they test themselves against the English, all right, the kudos is massive to them. Suddenly people will look up because they fought England and say, well, what about these Ukraine guys?
Police battling hooligans on the streets of Donetsk. Luckily, this is just a training exercise. Ukrainian police are trying to enforce a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to racism and violence at games. According to one of the men responsible for security in the city, the police are getting to grips with the problem.
As far as I know, the problem of racism exists throughout the whole world. That is why we're paying special attention to it. We will use our laws and our courts to protect people of different races from all over the world.
In Ukraine, though, the march of the far right is not just a football problem. Racism and nationalism have been on the rise ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union 20 years ago.
It's partly to do with global economic conditions. I think it's to do with the transition from the Soviet economy to a more capitalistic economy. But there is this now. This split in society now. It's very obvious between the haves and the have-nots, and I think there is almost an underclass developed. And of course, when that happens, extremist politics take hold.
The jewel in Donetsk's crown is the Donbass Arena, and it's where England will play 2 of their group games next month. Only 3,500 England fans have bought tickets to go to Ukraine. When they get to the Donbass Arena, they'll be monitored by 520 CCTV cameras, 1,000 stewards, 200 secret security men, and 4 battalions of riot police. The Ukrainians take security very seriously. Misbehave at the Donbass Arena and you'll end up in one of these cells inside the stadium.
At the beginning we were worried because, as you say, reputations of some English fans is not the best one, but then we had a lot of meetings and discussions with UEFA and their security officers and their experts, particularly in English fans, and currently none of the matches of Euro, including the England and French team matches, they are not considered as high risk because the behavior of English fans is different from when they support the club to when they support the national team, and we don't expect any bad behavior here, but at the same time we will be ready to react.
The last big game in Donetsk before England come here next month is Shakhtar versus Dynamo Kiev. It's one of the biggest derbies in the world. The authorities are confident that there won't be any trouble, but we've been told that there will be, miles outside Donetsk at a secret location, and we've been invited along for the ride.
The Ukrainian police have told us that Tolik, the leader of the Donetsk company, is at the top of their hooligans watch list, but he remains free to attend matches, including those at this summer's European Championship. Now, after the break, our team is taken 50 miles outside Donetsk to bear witness to a brutal pre-arranged fight with a rival gang of hooligans from Kiev. And we're inside the Donbass Arena for the most combustible game of the season, and the ultras are there in force.